with the Joneses. Jerry Jones looking at the glass half full, taking solace in the fact that his young team can come back when the chips are on the line.
Thought that we were a team that was capable of taking this thing all the way. I know we are now after that second half. There's nothing but words, it's no solace, but we have a team and we have players that are made of the kind of thing that can win these big games.
All right, so as we all know, Dallas is a one and done. Stephen A., was the Cowboys season a failure?
Absolutely. It absolutely was a catastrophic failure. And I couldn't be happy. I couldn't be happy about it. Couldn't be happy about it. The Dallas Cowboys season is a failure. Why? You're the #1 seed in the NFC. You're the #1 seed basically in the NFL. Everybody's been talking about you. Nobody steals headlines better than the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone was looking forward to you. Everybody was talking about, oh, do you realize if the Dallas Cowboys make the Super Bowl, I mean, my God, it's going to be phenomenal. And if they end up going against the Patriots, oh, my Lord, it'll be the greatest ratings bonanza in sports history. Blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? They are home. And guess what, Max Kellerman, Donovan McNabb? They still haven't won a damn playoff game in years. I mean, they won a couple of years ago against Detroit, but that's it. Since 1995, that is 21 years. The Dallas Cowboys have 2 playoff victories. 2.
I gave them 1.
You can't make this up.
I gave them 1.
2 playoff victories in 21 years. They were 13-3 in 2007. They were the #1 seed. What happened? What happened? They got bounced out by the Giants. Okay, that's what happened to them. They didn't win. They had the bye week in the wild card. The first playoff game was a divisional playoff game. They lost. What happened yesterday? Same thing. So all season long, we've been talking about the Cowboys. All season long, they've been stealing headlines. All season long, they've been taking the shot away from everybody else. And when it was their moment to take it and do something with it, they are home watching the playoffs. I got as many playoff victories as the Cowboys.
So do the Browns, by the way.
That's what it is.
So do the Cleveland Browns.
I don't want to hear anything about the Cowboys.
So do the Niners.
They are done.
Yeah.
This season is a failure. They came up short again.
The season is a failure. Now, I don't want to hear it from Cowboys fans because I know based on preseason expectations, especially when Romo goes down, but based on that, it's a success. Based on looking forward to see what your future looks like, great young offensive line, great young quarterback, great young running back. Now you can focus on the defense. That looks good, but we're not talking about those things. We're talking about right now.
Right now.
You had to reset expectations when throughout the season you were the best team in the NFC, maybe in football. You were 13-3, really should have been 14-2. They had nothing to play for against the Eagles. The Eagles did because they traded their draft pick, so it's not like they wanted to be bet, right? You had to reset expectations, and here's the bottom line. I'll bring up the Giants again. Was the Giants' season a success or failure, Donovan McNabb? Because I will tell you why the Giants actually had a better season than the Cowboys.
Why? Because they beat the Cowboys twice?
Here's the bottom line. You both went to the playoffs. Neither one of you won a playoff game. You both lost to the same team. Difference is, Giants lost on the road. Cowboys lost at home. How about this? Try this. Cowboys had 2 more wins than the Giants. Would you rather have that, 2 more wins overall, considering you both lost in the playoffs? Or would you rather beat your rivals twice? Because the Giants beat the Cowboys twice. You ask me which one I'd rather be, 2 wins over the other guys, plus a playoff loss to the same team on the road, versus at home with 2 losses to the other guys? And I bring it up because the Giants' season wasn't a success. You're going to tell me the Cowboys, who were supposed to make the Super Bowl? Look, new quarterback, it's a new era, same old story.
We all have an agenda.
Okay,
same old story.
Goodness gracious, Max. Okay, first of all, that you bring the Giants
That's
into
right.
After Tony Romo went down, the Giants were supposed to win the NFC East and go pretty far this year. Now they got Odell Beckham and also Eli Manning,
Don't make this about
plays
the Giants.
great in the playoffs. So I would say more of a failure is the Giants are more of a failure, especially what they put on their defense.
Stay on the subject.
But as far as their season is concerned, the Dallas Cowboys, it's a failure, yes, because we expected them to go further because they were the #1 seed. But I look at the all expectations of the young quarterback, young running back, and I would say no, it's not a failure. It's not a failure because their future is bright on the offensive end. Now, I talked about it earlier in the season of possibly trading Tony Romo and Dez Bryant. Now, do I still feel that same way about Dez Bryant? I think after a year, you go into the draft or possibly free agent, get a young wide receiver that can build around this young talent with Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott. Then you think about it with Dez Bryant.
Dez had a phenomenal game.
Dez had a great game last night. And the thing about it with Dez Bryant is he's so inconsistent. Why isn't he having that every week? Is it the play calling or is it Dez route running? That's something they need to look into the offseason. But as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned, them being a #1 seed, playing against the Green Bay Packers, who no one expected to really be this far. They expected the Giants to win, and then obviously the rematch to happen against the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. I would say it's not a failure because I think the future is bright. Now, it's all on Jerry Jones.
They didn't win a playoff game.
It's not. See, this is the thing.
A playoff game.
Yes, as a quarterback, it's about playoff wins and what you can do in big moments. Dak played well. It's not Dak's fault why they lost that game. I look at Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, and I look at Rob Marinelli. Where do you go from here? Jason Garrett looked confused on the sideline like we always see him do each and every week when the game gets close.
We're going to discuss him later in that play calling as well and get into that.
And so I look at it in a sense more from this point on, where do they go? Now, if they have an offseason like the New York Giants have, well, as far as spending all that money on defense, then we can say, you know what, going forward from this point on, the Dallas Cowboys are the team to watch.
Those seasons might be good, not this season.
But right now, you can't really say that it's so much a failure because who truly expected them to make it to the Super Bowl if you're not a Cowboys fan?
I can say it's a failure. I'm going to say it's a failure.
Well, anything right now at this particular point, you're going to say you dislike them.
Well, allow me to get to you because you have a resume that I could touch on. When you lost in the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, I did not consider that a failure.
I did.
Well, I understand. I respect that. I did not consider that a failure. You know why? Because I didn't expect you to beat them. But I did consider when you lost an NFC Championship game to Tampa in that ice bowl where y'all had us freezing out there covering the damn team, I did consider that a failure.
I did
Why?
Too.
Because we thought that you could beat Warren Sapp and the crew for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
True.
So what I'm saying to you is that the failure doesn't get eradicated or omitted from the equation because of what you're projecting the Cowboys will be 3, 4, 5 years, even 2 years down. Damn that.
Oh, I never said 3, 5 years.
I'm sorry, 2 years, 1 year, what I damn that. I'm talking about
but
right
Stephen A.,
now.
you didn't expect them to win it.
You didn't
so
expect
your
them to win the
argument
Super Bowl.
doesn't make sense.
Wait a minute.
You picked the Packers to win it.
Molly, they were the favorites and they
But
were
not
at home.
Stephen A.
That's what I'm saying.
So
y'all
he's
gonna
not
ask
living
both
up
of you
just
picked the
like-
Packers
So
to win.
y'all gonna ask me a question and then y'all gonna answer it?
Yes,
No,
yes.
I'm telling you right now.
We're repeating what you said on Friday.
Unfortunately, we have to move on
I've made
after Donovan and I corrected
several statements about the Dallas Cowboys. I talked about their talent. I talked about how legit they were. I had picked them to win the NFC East before the season even began, but I said they are an accident waiting to happen. They will get in their own
and
way.
that's what they did, so it's not a failure.
So what did you say Friday?
There
So
we
what
go.
did you say Friday? Who did you pick to win?
I picked
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
the whole
you didn't
argument
expect
about
them to
Donovan
win.
and ice
but
ball.
I'm talking about their season 13 and
Here's
3.
the bottom
It's not
line.
a failure.
Hold on.
Everybody else.
If
They
you win the
failed.
division with 13 games and you are favored to win the playoff
And
game
you gonna
and
do-
you're playing at home
Okay.
and you lose the playoff game, that is a failure.
Yes.
That cannot be described
Yes.
as a
So
success.
if you didn't expect them to win,
I
so
did.
how was it a failure?
I picked the Cowboys to win.
Okay. Let's just keep in mind, this was essentially their backup quarterback that brought them there who became their starter, but it's a failure.
Oh,
These guys are all fired up
Please.
about the Cowboys, but what do you think? Go on Twitter now and vote. Was the Cowboys season a failure? You know how we feel. Vote. We'll share those results
Yes, it
a little
is.
bit
Of course it
later.
was.
Enough
Great job,
of you.
Molly. Great
Donovan,
job.
thank you. You're
Oh,
sticking with us.
yes.
Thank God.
Is he?
Antonio Brown and Mike Tomlin get the
You
big
love it
win
when I
in
win.
Kansas City, but they might not be all buddy-buddy on Monday. We will explain that a little later in the show.